Have you ever noticed how exhausting it is to always explain yourself, to defend your choices, to justify your feelings, to respond to every comment, every question, every misunderstanding? Sometimes it's not even an argument, just a raised eyebrow, a doubtful tone, a quiet judgment hiding behind polite words, and suddenly you feel the urge to speak, to correct, to prove, to make sure you are seen, understood, validated. You replay conversations in your head. You imagine what you should have said. You wonder why people don't get you. And by the end of the day, you feel strangely empty. Not because you were silent, but because you spoke too much when silence might have protected you. If you've ever felt drained after explaining yourself to someone who was never truly listening, if you've ever felt smaller after trying to be understood, then stay with me. Because this story is not about becoming quiet out of fear. It's about discovering why silence chosen consciously can be one of the greatest forms of strength. The story. Once, near a wide gray sea where the waves never fully rested, there lived a young man named Aaron. Aaron was thoughtful, observant, and deeply aware of the world around him. He noticed moods. He sensed tension. He felt words, even unspoken ones, very clearly. But Aaron had a habit that slowly exhausted him. He explained himself to everyone. If someone misunderstood him, he rushed to clarify. If someone doubted him, he spoke longer. If someone judged him unfairly, he defended himself with carefully chosen words. Aaron believed that if he explained clearly enough, people would understand him. And if people understood him, peace would follow. But peace never came. The more he spoke, the more tangled things became. Words piled on words. Clarifications created more confusion. Defenses invited more attacks. And inside Aaron, something heavy began to form. In his mind, he imagined it as an anchor. Every time he felt the need to explain himself, a small anchor appeared. Not a real one, but heavy enough to feel. At first, he carried one or two, then more. Soon, Aaron felt like he was dragging anchors behind him wherever he went. He walked slower. He spoke carefully, but constantly. He felt watched even when he was alone. At night, he lay awake, replaying conversations. Why didn't they understand me? Why did I have to explain myself again? Why do I feel so tired after talking? One evening, overwhelmed and restless, Aaron walked down to the shore. The sea was quiet. The sky dimmed into soft gray blue. The wind moved gently, without urgency. Aaron sat on a rock and whispered, "I'm so tired of carrying this weight. But if I stop explaining, won't people misunderstand me even more?" The guide appears. As he sat there, an old lighthouse keeper approached. The man was tall but thin, his movements slow and deliberate. His eyes were calm, as if they had watched many storms pass without panic. The keeper sat beside Aaron and looked out at the sea. "You look anchored," the man said quietly. Aaron blinked. "Anchored?" "Yes," the keeper replied. "Not to the sea, but to noise." Aaron hesitated, then spoke honestly. "I just want to be understood," he said. "But the more I explain, the heavier I feel." The keeper nodded. "Then let me show you something. The parable of the anchors." The old man stood and gestured toward the shore. "Look at the ships," he said. Several boats floated in the distance. Some moved freely with the waves. Others remained completely still. "Why do some ships move?" the keeper asked, "while others stay trapped in one place?" Aaron answered quickly, "Because some are anchored." The keeper smiled. "And why do ships drop anchors?" "To avoid drifting," Aaron said. "To feel safe." The keeper nodded. "Anchors are useful," he said, "but only when chosen deliberately." Then he turned to Aaron. "Your words have become anchors." Aaron frowned. "Words are supposed to help," he said. "They clarify." "Yes," the keeper replied, "but only when they are needed." He continued softly. "Every time you explain yourself to someone who is not listening, Every time you defend your truth to someone who has already decided, you drop an anchor into shallow water. Aaron felt a quiet discomfort. And what happens when too many anchors are dropped? The keeper asked. Aaron looked at the ships again. They stop moving, he said slowly. The keeper nodded. Silence is not weakness, he said. Unnecessary explanation is. The shift. Aaron felt something inside him tighten and then loosen. All this time, he believed silence meant losing, that if he didn't speak, others would control the narrative. But now, he saw another truth. Each explanation was not protecting him. It was weighing him down. Each word spoken out of fear, not clarity, was another anchor. But if I stay silent, Aaron asked, won't people think they're right? The keeper smiled gently. Power is not about correcting every misunderstanding, he said. Power is about knowing which ones deserve your voice. He paused. Silence is not empty. Silence is selective. The sea moved calmly behind them. When you stop explaining, the keeper continued, you stop feeding what drains you. Aaron closed his eyes. He imagined himself standing still while invisible anchors clung to his feet. For the first time, he asked himself a different question. Do I really need to speak? Or do I just feel uncomfortable being misunderstood? That question changed everything. Letting the anchors go, the keeper stood and walked closer to the water. Come, he said. Aaron followed. Imagine each explanation you've carried, the keeper instructed. As an anchor tied to your body. Aaron closed his eyes. He felt them clearly, heavy, cold, pulling. Now, the keeper said, ask yourself one thing. Did this anchor protect me or restrict me? One by one, Aaron imagined untying the ropes. Some anchors dropped immediately into the sea. Others took longer. With each release, his chest felt lighter. His breath slowed. His shoulders relaxed. The waves continued their rhythm unbothered. You don't need to announce your silence, the keeper said. You simply stop dropping anchors. Life after silence. Aaron returned to his life changed, not quieter, but clearer. When questioned aggressively, he paused. When misunderstood, he listened instead of rushing to speak. When judged, he asked himself, is my explanation needed, or am I seeking relief from discomfort? Most of the time, silence was enough. And something unexpected happened. People began listening more carefully when he spoke. His words carried weight because they were rare. His presence felt steady. Without constant explanation, Aaron moved forward again. He wasn't drifting. He was navigating the step, a simple practice you can use today. Now, my friend, here is a small practice you can begin today. When you feel the urge to explain yourself, pause for 3 slow breaths. Place one hand on your chest. Ask silently, is this explanation coming from clarity or from fear? If it's fear, imagine an anchor in your hand. Gently release it into the sea. Choose silence or fewer words. Do this consistently. Silence will stop feeling heavy. It will start feeling strong. Final philosophy. Here is the truth few people realize. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is contained power. Not everything needs your voice. Not everyone deserves your explanation. The moment you stop explaining yourself to the wrong people, you begin to hear yourself again. And when you hear yourself clearly, you move freely. Silence doesn't make you invisible. Silence makes you unmovable.